Hello, and welcome to another video. This one I will cover stats and amplifiers. It'll be pretty short compared to others, but it needs to be done. First I'll cover amplifiers. An easy way to farm multiple min-max armor rings is to farm for boxes. These boxes are from veteran master mode flashpoints. You get them for selecting all of the flashpoints available to get the daily reward, and the repeatable reward also gives a box. So I recommend farming these to get min-maxed 306s. It's also good for mods and enhancements. Rerolling amplifiers until you get a gold one is the way at least I did it. I would highly recommend this if you need multiple different amplifiers for any classes that you plan on playing. It will take longer and for the most part, but it will save you a lot of money. Because if you end up rerolling a gold like force sensitivity, and that's maybe not what you want, but getting a force sensitivity later down the road is probably going to be not that easy. I typically stop rolling at about 50k to save money, and for the most part getting more armor rings really doesn't take that long. Now to Amplifier Recommendations. This is a bit different. I'll pin a document sort of helping you in the comments. However, I will tell you what I'll probably run for each spec. Starting with Juggernaut Immortal, I would go with Weapon Expertise since nearly all abilities are benefiting from it. Not quite sure if tanking amps are worthwhile, but they potentially could be. Armor Pin seems to be recommended for most white damage dealers though. I don't think it's been fully tested for PvP. I'll cover why I say that now rather instead of later. So most classes have varying armor ratings along with the ability to sunder targets. I don't know if the armor pin is scaling off the player's armor or if it's just flat armor pin rate. However, some classes have base armor pin, so I think those classes would be the easiest to test this with. I would assume that the armor pin is flat and it's not scaling off of how much armor the target has, though I could be wrong. This is why I'm wary about it. However, I'll still recommend armor pin over the other things if that class does well with armor pin. Just keep this in mind. If somebody's tested it, that would be great to see that. Now for Vengeance, I think a few different amps are viable for it. Since you're PvPing, you do a lot of AoE damage often and dot damage often, so periodic intensity will be very good along with force sensitivity and oral command. Oral command is probably the least useful in every game, but in the right game you can definitely outperform the other two since slam is the majority of the current damage it's doing right now. And then for rage, I would recommend either armor pin or weapon expertise. A lot of the damage is weapon based. Going into Marauder, covering annihilation, I would recommend periodic intensity. A lot of the damage that's done is from dots, and instead of anything else, things like Deadly Saber, Rend, Rupture, they're all rather easy to get on multiple targets. Sometimes Rend Smash can be a bit harder though. Regardless, periodic intensity is definitely the best for annihilation. Now for Carnage, I'd recommend Weapon Expertise since everything but Devastating, Blast, and Smash are affected by it. For Fury, I'd recommend Armor Pin since it already has Armor Pin built into its spec. However, Expertise also would not be that bad. Covering Assassin, starting with Darkness, it's sort of in the same spot, Armor Pin or Force Sensitivity. Keep in mind what I said about Armor Pin. To Deception, I would recommend Weapon Expertise or Armor Pin also. Hatred, I recommend Periodic Intensity because getting all your dots off is super easy, so that makes it far more effective than everything else. Getting into Sorcerer, I would recommend Force Sensitivity for Lightning. You could also go the same for Madness, however Periodic Intensity is also an option. I'm not sure what could be better for Madness since it's all force damage and there's 3 dots, but they're easily mass applied, so it could be a toss-up. Sniper, I would recommend Weapon Expertise for Marksmanship, Periodic Intensity for both Engineering and Virulence. Both have dots that aren't too hard to apply. Oral Command could be pretty good for engineering also. For Operative, I would recommend Tech Wizardry. For Concealment, Lethality, I would recommend Periodic Intensity. However, I use Tech Wizardry as Lethality due to Viral Elements Tactical, just to have more burst during that window, though Intensity is definitely better for Lethality. Now to go to the last two, for Arsenal Mercenary, I'd recommend Armor Pin, then Weapon Expertise. Again, it's still a toss-up on how Armor Pin works in PvP. And then for IO, I would pick Periodic Intensity, then Weapon Expertise. Both of them get benefits. And lastly, for Power Tech, I recommend Tech Wizardry for all 3 specs. Power Tech's abilities are all tech, oddly enough, very simple, just like the class. And for healing, it's a bit different. Periodic healing amps is a toss-up for medicine. I think it could be good, but I've not tested it. However, Force Harmonization for Sorcerer and Medtech for both Operative and Mercenary seems to be the go-to. Now, going into stats real quickly to help you guys figure out what you want to go for. Min-maxing isn't a perfect thing in this game since there's a lot of RNG aspects of critical. Another thing is uptime is never perfect in a war zone, so oftentimes it may be better to maximize upfront damage or burst damage windows. The stats I like to run for non-white damage dealers would ideally be 1213 Alacrity for 1.4 GCD, then 3050 critical to 3500. Putting the rest of my stats into mastery. When playing a class that does white damage, I take an accuracy enhancement plus the accuracy stem. I still try to reach the same stat pool. You can trim your stats with enhancements to get lower alacrity and critical. This is part of the real grind, and there are some better mods too, depending on what you want to go for. Also, more power or more mastery. It's a grind, and I wouldn't focus too hard on it. It'll be a very small increase, but something to go for as a goal. Now, outside of that, I wouldn't really recommend going over 3500 critical, but that's a personal opinion. Another threshold that I would say is totally viable is to get through 206 Alacrity. I would more so recommend this for the classes that get 10% critical from their set bonus, which is Operative and Mercenary. Mercenary also gets a critical multiplier buff or passive or whatever, which they could get even more out of it. You could also take the Devastating Vengeance critical relic, which could be pretty good. But for any other classes, I wouldn't recommend it. Hopefully this helps some players. I know it's more so basic, but I wanted to get it out there so I could avoid having to go into too much depth on gear and stats for each guide video that I tackle. Also, most people may not need a guide for said class, but may want to brush up on stats and amps. And that's all. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing or leaving a like. I have many other videos like this and more to come. If you have any questions, feel free to comment as I play every class, and I'm more than happy to help. For more information, check the description. As always, thanks for watching.